Hello, this is Katia, your midwife, and today we're going to talk about the very first few weeks of pregnancy and what to do. So, you've been looking for a baby for a while, you've been trying, and finally, your home pregnancy test is positive. If that's positive, congratulations, you are definitely pregnant. The home pregnancy tests are quite reliable for positive results. They could give some false negatives, especially if you do the test beforehand. So normally on the box there would be the instructions, and you should do the test the day after your missed period. If you have irregular periods or you're not sure when you had when was your conception date, then sometimes that could be a little bit of a leeway for the pregnancy test to get it wrong. So if it's negative and you've had intercourse a couple of weeks before or less than that, it could be that probably you may need a few more days just to double check if you're actually pregnant. But if it's positive, 100% sure that you're pregnant, so congratulations. Well, what happens in those first few weeks? First of all, about the size. So, baby at this stage, around 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks of pregnancy, it's just a mass of cells, and the size could go from a poppy seed to a peppercorn. So, it's really, really tiny. However, you may feel a bit weird. So you may feel sick, especially in the morning. You may feel nauseous, especially if you smell certain foods, or I don't know, if you smell a particular perfume. So you can have an enhanced sense of smell that could make you feel a bit unwell sometimes. If you don't have any of these symptoms, it doesn't mean that you're not pregnant or you're not pregnant enough. It's just the way your body is coping with the pregnancy hormones. But we're going to talk about it in another video. What should you do? So you've just done the test. So roughly you may be about 5, 6 weeks pregnant, sometimes 8 weeks pregnant if you have very irregular cycles. What should you do? So you want to look for a hospital where you want to give birth. Here in the UK, it's quite straightforward. Normally, you would book in the hospital in your local hospital. Or, for example, if you have friends or family who have had their baby in other hospitals and you think that could be right for you, then you can book into another hospital. So here in the UK, what you need to do is quite simple. You go on the website of the hospital where you would like to have your baby, and you can fill a self-referral form. Some hospitals still need the input of your GP. In that case, call your GP, make an appointment, and they will make the referral for you. And then you should be contacted by the hospital by 8 weeks of pregnancy in order for you to have a booking appointment with a midwife and have your first set of blood tests, which we call booking bloods. So these booking bloods are a group of blood tests that help us to understand if there is anything that we can do for you since the start of your pregnancy and what we're going to investigate. So first of all, we're going to take a full blood count to check what's going on in your blood. So full blood count is basically a blood test that checks the particulate portion of your blood. So it's gonna look for it's gonna look at your red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, all the components, the solid components of your blood, just to check if you have anemia, for example, or any other sorts of disease that you probably were not aware of. Then we're going to investigate your blood group. This is important for us because if your blood group is rhesus negative, you may need a prophylactic injection later on in pregnancy. And then we're going to have a look at your infectious status. So we're going to check if you have a current or you had a past infection from HIV, hepatitis B, and syphilis. And then last but not least, we're going to screen you for sickle cell anemia, which is a very particular kind of anemia, which could affect especially people from the Mediterranean area and Africa, but it's not a given that only this kind of ethnicity could be affected. So this is the first part of your pregnancy. If you're undecided, or if you would like to have a private care during your pregnancy, you're more than welcome to contact me, so your midwife, or if you would like to have a consultant-led input, so if you know that if you have any medical condition that will need an extra input from a doctor, you're more than welcome to contact an obstetrician of your choice. But remember, it's really, really important that you looked after a midwife as well, because we are able to answer some of the questions that the doctor are not able to, especially if they're not strictly medical related, especially if they are about what's gonna happen later on in the pregnancy, what should I prepare for. This is an opportunity for you to start building a relationship with your midwife, because sometimes the doctors are in a rush and they're not able to answer all those questions, or probably you feel a bit embarrassed to talk about certain topics with your doctor. So if you have any questions about the first few weeks of your pregnancy, or you would like to have a consultation, please contact me, comment on this video, or send me a private message. If you found that this video was particularly interesting, just like my page, share the video, and tell your friends. Until next time, see you. Bye bye.